Hello Nick, it's Scott from New Zealand again. This is my second book that I'm making. I've currently done the first belly. I also have a question regarding plaiting and if I should start the first belly again. I noticed that in the video you called for a 10.5 inch handle. I took a piece of steel that was about 350 millimeters long, so it's about 13 inches. Consequently, when I cut the 10-foot length paracord, a lot of it was used up in this section here of the handle, and so this is the transition point, and down towards the thong it actually ends here. As you can see, there's a significant piece of thong left. Now my question is this: if this scale here represents the entire length of the whip, I noticed that when you did your first belly, if this is the handle, the first belly ended about here. When you did the second belly, you drop your first strands up here, your second strands down here, and your final strands down here. Now my question is this: because my first belly, if this here is the full length of the whip, if this just represents a scale that is the full length of the whip, if I have dropped my first belly here, can I then go and drop my first strands here, my second strands here, and my final strands down here? So again, I still have a taper all the way down the whip, or am I missing something? Do I have to redo this again? And also, do you have any advice? The reason, by the way, I went for longer handle is because I saw you saying, and I saw a few other people have said, that the longer the handle, the more accurate the whip is, the more you can target. So I thought I'd try that, and if I find that the handle is too long, I can always cut it off later on. I can't add a handle to a whip that's already been made. So that's my current dilemma. I'm currently waiting on other paracord to arrive that is coloured, so it's not just a standard navy blue. Oh, and on my other whip, I mentioned that I have a point in the middle of the thong that is quite stiff, and that's because I taped over it, and I'm convinced I did something wrong there. But I noticed that this part here is still stiffer than the parts before and obviously after it. When I go to tape this entire thing, should I tape this, stop here, and then continue taping from where I have stopped taping for the part that terminates this belly? So effectively I've only gone over this once. I don't go over this section twice, and then the rest. Could I do that to eliminate the stiffness, the localized stiffness of the whip? And as always, thank you for your tutorial. It is absolutely fantastic, and I'm surprised and just amazed at how well my plating's turning out. I thought for certain that it would take a lot more effort and practice and trial and error, I should say, not effort. I was convinced it would take a lot more attempts to get it to a... I can't focus this camera. I was convinced it would take a lot more attempts before it got to a reasonable standard, but this seems to be turning out quite well. So yeah, thank you for your input, and thank you for your tutorials.